And one of the things that stuck out to me was you originally thought the problem was too big and didn't want to engage with it, early on. And it seems to me that you had almost a Damascus Road experience with you and your wife where you guys got behind it. Talk to me a little bit about that, because I feel like a lot of times we are called to bigger things on God's behalf, or we're called to bigger things, whether it be a business or whatever. And we try to turn away from it. Like, talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah. My wife and I had several experiences, spiritual experiences, that told us that we needed to quit a job that I loved and go into something that was so scary for me. And I was being selfish in it, because I was just thinking about myself and my kids. How am I going to provide for them? I'm going from the most secure job to the most risky endeavor, which is starting a nonprofit. I mean, I did the research and saw that I think it was like 5% of nonprofits make it through the first year.
Yeah.
And then even less make it through the second year.
And even less to the 10 years and 5 years.
Yeah. And then 10 years, it's down to like 1% that have, it's a tough space to be in. And this was a model that no one had really proven. How do you privatize the kind of rescue that I was doing in the government? How do you privatize that?
Yeah.
Will it even work? Will governments accept this new approach?
Yeah.
But we'd had so many spiritual experiences, confirmations, and it came down to December of 2013 when I was going to turn in my badge and gun, and I was a total coward. And I actually went to my wife and I said, I'm not doing it. She's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And she did something with me that was, it was like, I don't know, she got some download from heaven to be this perfect therapist in that moment. And she said, well, what do you see? You see two paths. I see this one path that's the government. In a few years, I get my pension, and then I'm retired at 50, I mean, that's only a couple of years from now. Right. So I can see where I could have been. And then, I had my brother-in-law, who's a financial advisor, came to me and said, let me show you your pension, how many millions of dollars this pension is actually worth if you live to be 80. So I'm looking at all this stuff and it's like, you're going to walk away from all this. And so I see this road over on this side that looks beautiful and it's perfect and it's planned out.
Yeah.
And then I look over here, this OUR road, and it's scary and there's cobwebs. That's what she was asking me. What do you see? That's what I see.
Yeah.
And then she did this to me. Okay. She put me through the process of crystallization. She put me through, knowingly or not, through the Lincoln test. And she said, okay, now you got to meet your maker, right? Because we're all going to die.
Yeah.
Life is short, right? No matter what, we're all going to be dead soon. All of us, right? And you're going to meet your maker. And he's going to ask you two questions. This is Catherine talking to me. Two questions. The first question he's going to ask you is, did you know that I told you to start this foundation? And I have to say yes. There's no denying. I could tell you story after story after story. There's no denying that piece.
Yeah. And
then the second question, did you do it? And how will you feel to say, no, sir, I didn't do it? And then I'm like, oh my gosh. She's like, okay, now go back to that fork in the road. Now what do you see?
Yeah. And
I said, well, I still see, I see retirement at 50 and all the, but that was scary as hell. All of a sudden, that road was like, but what will I miss? What blessings might not come? What videotape will I maybe see in heaven about the people that would have been helped? Could there be thousands? And I'm responsible because I was a coward. And then the other road, again, the OUR path, I still couldn't see anything except it literally, I saw light and I felt warmth. And I remember in my head, in my mind's eye, because she invoked this in me, I saw maybe two steps, two kind of stone steps.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see the third one, but it was light and it was warm.
Yeah.
And I would have given anything in that moment to go there. And then she ended that little discussion with these words. And by the way, if you don't do it, I'm not going to let you not do it, because she said, I will not let you jeopardize my salvation by not doing it. So in a way,
head of the household thing,
a little bit of a Lincoln kind of test, and ultimately we that was it. The end of discussion. When your wife says that to you, you kind of
I mean, it's the whole head of the household thing, right? So
it kind of
here's the trump card.
Right, it kind of ends the debate.